Okay, so this is gonna be a short video where I basically explain one thing. Use your polearm unit as your shield unit. Don't actually use your shield unit as the shield unit. So the reason why is because your polearm unit is actually gonna be able to do more damage than your shield unit on the enemy phase. I use the word enemy phase here because it's a Fire Emblem term, which basically explains you're doing something while your enemy is acting by retaliation attack. A lot of the time in Fire Emblem and like a lot of strategy game, if you look at it, to maximize the value on the enemy's action, you're not gonna actually try to stack your defense, but more so you're gonna try to stack up your damage that you can output. Because what happened here is that polearm unit all have first strike, so they attack first with retaliation attack, which remove enemy HP, which makes them do less damage. They have charge resistance, which counters charge attack until they get heavy charge strike. So they're gonna not get destroyed by charge as much as shield unit. If you look at the defensive stats, they're actually passable. They have passable defense. If you compare this to a racial tier 3, Bastion has 4 more defense and 5 more HP. So the HP basically doesn't really matter. They have 1 less resistance as well. But if you look at it, all unit get defense mode, which is you yourself extend zone of control to all adjacent axes, plus 2 defense, plus resistance, and immune to flanking. I'm pretty sure all units is this. Let me just double check. Yes, this effect is universal. However, if you notice already, when it's called Shield Wall, what it does is typically you will, as the baseline, give all adjacent friendly unit another plus 3 defense. So it's actually gonna be when a shield unit enter defense mode, it's actually gonna boost your adjacent unit more than themselves. If you look at some other shield unit, right? So let's look at the Iron Golem. So Iron Golem is a tier 3 from the Tome of Artificing, I believe, which is basically has the same stat line as Bastion, except you don't get your racial boost. They cannot be put on a mount, and they have a massive shocking weakness because they're a fucking construct, and I goddamn hate constructs. Anyways, they have reinforced, which means they are actually they're really tanky, really tanky. They have shield wall, they're really tanky. They have powerless, which means they don't actually subject to morale changes. But the issue with shield unit, another issue with the shield unit is that if they're just passively sitting in the front line and you're not actively using them to boost enemies, even though they're tanky, they're still gonna get killed. They're gonna get killed by lightning damage, by magic damage, by debuffs, blah blah blah, by morale. Iron Golem has heartless, other non-construct does not have hardness. Iron Golem has control loss immunity, but they still get taunted. You know, yeah, if you look at defense mode, Iron Golem has an upgrade on top of an upgrade on top of an upgrade. They do the average defense, they do the base defense mode. They have the shield unit defense mode, defense wall effect, and they also plus 3 status resistance to adjacent unit, which means they're also gonna be able to support your adjacent unit by making them not get CC'd. If you look at actually I believe it's in the magical wildlife scene because it's actually so we'll consider wildlife. If you look at Entwined Protectors, they're not as tanky as Iron Golem, but they have, first of all, they have a shock resistance, which is really rare, and consider evocation is so easy to slot in. This is actually probably more important than having a higher defense stats against range attacks. They also have shield defense, which means their defense is actually deceptively high. They also get their resistance can also be boosted a little bit better, just because how these units are, because they're also with Tome of Glade, and if you're going Tome of Glade, you're probably gonna do some boosting to your resistance, like that's your general game plan. They also have a shield wall. They have a normal shield wall, but look at this. They have Healing Sap. Healing Sap is this unit of friendly adjacent unit heal plus 20 temporary HP. This unit enters defense mode, so it's a better way to use the action economy than just passively sitting to do nothing. And remember, your shield unit isn't gonna do as much damage if they enter shield wall. They're not gonna be able to hit something. So having something like Healing Sap is actually pretty important. On the enemy phase, their retaliation get cancelled, their defense mode get cancelled by shocking attack. So by shock unit attack. Okay, shocking damage is different than shock unit. Shock unit are basically your cavalry unit, like your heavy charge units. And your charge units. Shock damage is a specific damage type. They are literally called the same thing, and it's very confusing because it's actually a very important thing to talk about when we talk about shield unit. And I really wish AoW4 would change shock damage to lightning damage just straight up, and don't call it shock because it's very confusing wording. Anyways, that's just side ramble and side rant. Um, yeah, if you look at Entwined Protectors, they do 13 damage. They're non-racial units, so they're not even gonna get your racial portrait. If you look at Ancestral Wardens, they get 16 damage. And if you look at their tier upgrade, if you get to tier 4, they get plus 40% damage on retaliation attack. You can combine this with something like Tome of Construct, which give you plus 1 retaliation attack. So you can do a lot of retaliation attack. And retaliation attack also boosts your survivability a lot because, again, you have charge resistance, so you don't care about charge. You have first strike, which means you're gonna do a giga damage on your retaliation attack, and then they attack you, which means your damage is gonna be way lower. Like in Fire Emblem, what's it called? Vantage, which is the same effect, but it requires you to be 50% or lower, is considered one of the best skill because you can damage stack on it, put your unit at lower, proc Vantage, and then basically one-shot enemies on the enemy face. And then what happens is that you're gonna kill your enemy before they get to attack you, which if you do damage buff properties, this is actually what what you call it, Palm unit is gonna provide for you. Because remember, these are not like Vantage in Fire Emblem where you have to be low enough to proc this. This is just like always active, and as long as I believe you have to, as long as you can retaliate. So if you're not getting flanked, right? So, anyways, that's basically what I want to go through. That's basically the video. Don't use your shield unit as passive tanks that just do nothing and soak up damage and debuffs and just dies and get CC'd, and also just passively lose morale because everything else around is dying. Use them to boost the survivability of your other unit, and use actual good combat unit as your frontliner. That by boosting them with the shield unit. So that's the video. That's the idea of the video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.